Let my song spend so much time alone while I'm riding. Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding trap on my chrome. Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding trap on my chrome.
Been out of these streets, nigga trying to eat while the police own family stealing from me. Mama told me to pray, but white Jesus can't save me. Get him away from me. I don't know what to say. So many niggas hating me. Get them away from me.
Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding trap on my chrome. Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding trap on my chrome.
Go and sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding around with my cone. Go and sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding around with my cone. Trying to keep it on the true side, nigga. Laying low to play it cool now, nigga. Ass niggas on the team, I've been known to get the green ever since I was 2'5", nigga. Coop hanging out the roof, nah, nigga. Cause I ain't stunting on them. Put my whole team on so they ain't wrong. When niggas doing bad, you know that they be hating on you. Get the hoping that you fall, they be waiting on it. Bullshit get bread from the envy. Best friends get to looking like enemies. When you got it in this bank account empty. Perfect recipe to brittle out of jealousy. Looking from a bird's eye view. Learn from everything I've been through. Told my baby girl, if you ain't spending life with the nigga, never let him put a dick up in you. Cause if a nigga wrong, I'ma check that shit. And when you paper long, never flex that shit. Told my son, when you getting money, never take it to a baba, flip it over, then invest that shit. Give a lot of game, trying to bless my kids. Gotta keep it real, that's the best shit. Gotta hit us up and feel it back in Texas. When I get up on the track, yeah, I wreck shit.
Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding trap on my chrome. Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding trap on my chrome.
Go and sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding around with my cone. Go and sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding around with my cone.
So the Lord gonna deal with you for that shit. He mad. He mad as hell about that swag, man. You need to read that nigga some scriptures. Read him a few scriptures on the swine, nigga. They ain't gonna know it's unclean. You'll know they do unclean things. No Christians allowed. No Christians allowed, man. Body don't die. Hey. I be sipping on my sorrow. You fucked over me today, well I can't fuck with you tomorrow. Pay no mind and I can borrow. I'm gonna spread that UPK and tell them devils feel my sorrow. Try to rob me for my check, nigga. Better not break them laws, you know that's Steph, nigga. What if the Lord took you out your flesh, nigga? Hey, fucking with the prophets, you get less, nigga. In the belly of the beast, I am all about my butter. Got the jelly with the wheat. Niggas know it ain't sweet though. Like a piece of roll, you can feel the heat though. Young Dooley Dad'll call me the ski though. I'm sliding on them cold as a Minnesota winter. I survive it on them like the Eskimos. Yes, you know the natives be the brothers. Shout out to the Haitians, we above them. Levi be the nation, motherfucker. Every time I got them on, I got them hating, motherfucker. I don't put no Pradas on, that's that devil wear. Every time you see me with that metal, boy, it's Everclear. Strong like electric chair. Niggas feel that fire. Niggas getting shot when I talk what they desire. But everything was prior. The prophecies is coming out. Them niggas get to running when the trumpets get to drumming out. Screw up. Hey, I be sipping on my sorrow. You fucked over me today, well I can't fuck with you tomorrow. Pay no mind and I can borrow. I'm gonna spread that UPK and tell them devils feel my sorrow. Try to rob me for my check, nigga. Better not break them laws, you know that Steph, nigga. What if the Lord took you out your flesh, nigga? Fucking with them prophets, you get less, nigga.
I'm just trying to do what a motherfucking prophet do. Why you trying to stop it, dude? If this is not the truth, would I die for a lie? Hell nah, I never do. I'ma die for the truth. This is what I'm telling you. Hoping that your mind bulletproof of what they telling you. Hoping you ain't buying all the lies they been selling you. Never knew all the fucking faking shit they reverend do. Bet they run when the news come like the reverend do. We on the grind trying to help these Jews find they mind. They stole our Jews, but we still gon' shine. Our brothers gone locked up. All they doing is time. I can't wait until the devil gotta pay for his crimes.
Hey, I be sipping on my sorrow. You fucked over me today, well I can't fuck with you tomorrow. Pay no mind and I can borrow. I'm gonna spread that UPK until them devils feel my sorrow. Try to rob me for my check, nigga. Better not break them laws, you know that Steph, nigga. What if the Lord took you out your flesh, nigga? Fucking with them prophets, you get less, nigga.
This for my people. This for my people. Yeah, this for my people. This for my people. This for my people. Yeah, this for my people. Fuck the white man, 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 fuck the white man. Painted by the Spanish, did a whole lot of damage. Shit was outlandish, bags got branded. Split up all the families, then shipped across the Atlantic. So many died from the famine. Threw the dead bodies overboard, sharks ate them like salmon. I know you can't stand it. I spit the truth, goddammit. Big business got managed, dig it double back. Came to pick up all the blacks. We'll speed up our back, we never got to relax. Pretend to set us free, but dig it double back without a crack. The type of game that you play, hey, to keep it real, I ain't going for it. Beat a couple court cases, had a warrant for it. Told my mama if I ever did time, I'ma raise up the whole yard. Had my lawyer like, oh Lord, district attorney added more charges. No problem, I ain't tripping. Thumbing through the scriptures. Muhammad said the Lord with you, boy, that's a small issue. Bounce back out the rebound. UPK got the heat now. They done let me off the leash now, teaching in the streets now. A part of Lost Tribe South, but it started in the East now. Look, this for my people. This for my people. Yeah, this for my people. This for my people. This for my people. Yeah, this for my people. Fuck the white man, 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 fuck the white man. This for my people. This for my people. Yeah, this for my people. This for my people. This for my people. Yeah, this for my people. Fuck the white man, 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 fuck.
Hey, what they do, dawg? What they do, bro? You know what time it is, man. Coming out the boondocks, the ghettos, the barrios, nigga, the wood lots. You know what time it is, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a takeover, dawg. You know what I'm saying? Mr. 249. Nigga, I ain't talking about the time, dawg. Yeah!
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
I'm from a place where they don't deliver pizza and won't deliver my people, even if they call them FEMA. A place where black women say they don't need you, where everybody broken selling dope, the only way to feed them. Shit is football, fucked up beyond all recognition. Crackers hiring 2 million niggas in prison. Now move your ass over, cause I'm coming hard like at the shark garment at the 49th pass over. They already know, don't piss me off and make me grab Captain Tazari up and load him up with 17 shots of Captain Captain and bust every round and make them connect like high-speed Wi-Fi. So don't call that motherfucking iron radio. Run west, This ain't what you want, Breakfast Club ass niggas. We ain't seeing y'all no. Don't give a damn if it's all three of y'all. And I ain't really a social media nigga. I'm more of a 3D up front, say it in your face, nigga. And every man ain't a faggot, and every faggot ain't no fucking man. Yeah, you heard what the fuck I said. My speech is man up for move. You can't pick and choose who you come out of one con to. In this school, you will follow the rules, no excuse, and give a brother his respect that is due. I see a church sign, I cross that shit out and let them know for sure that UPK was fucking here. I've been through it all, back against the wall, died and came back, so it ain't a man that I fucking feel. They say the truth will set you free, so when I tell you the truth, I'm making you free. With this speech, Isaiah 49 and 23, get on your knees and kiss the boots of the kings and the priests. Truth and lies so mixed, that's like trying to put two men together and expect for them to have a kid. A Jew lies with the ish, so when you put the words together, all you is Jewish. I came to peep out the world, this is a nice place. Then he says it ain't for sale, just for showcase. My apologies, devil, you must mistake. I didn't come to ask, bitch, I came to take. Yeah! Who's the power? Who's the power? Who do we feel? The power we feel. Who do we feel? The power we feel. Who's your king? Who's your king? What's your name? Israel. I see you looking still acting like we strangers, but we blood brothers, hang each other like we fucking dangerous. Your mamas call us vagabond, so you don't hang with us, but I bet you hear me if I speak in your own language. Live it, 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 live it. Live it, live it, live it, live it. I remember the days when y'all was picked on. I remember the days when y'all was shitted on. I remember the days when y'all stood alone. I remember Rachel, the baddest Haitian in my project home.
First breath I took, a life too surreal. Second breath I took was the pivot and strike, finish the kill. Influenced by might, with every sentence reveal. I won't pay back, fuck the dollar bill. Remain calm as the pressure build. Gotta endure until I let this pump.
Shalom, bro. This is Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Today is run by Commanding General YAHANNA, commanding the rank and the authority to be the leader of the Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know, we always say that. And more we prove it is true because of what today's topic is. I want to say Yahweh Basham Yahweh Barakatah to the brothers, Yahweh Shama Alatan Basham Yahweh to the sisters. Welcome to our Sunday afternoon scripture breakdown. All right, we have a situation in Jamaica now where one parish, 14 parish, the government have to isolate one parish and put a lockdown on that parish. They call a state of emergency. Now, a state of emergency is a serious tool in which a government in any country has to
for any reason, the government feels threatened, the citizens are threatened, the government can pull what we call a state of public emergency. Now, a state of emergency means that your you hear people all the while demonstrate and talk about constitutional rights and things. Regardless of what the Constitution says about your rights, whenever a state of emergency is declared, you have no rights. All your rights has been suspended. So most people, as a matter of fact, you know, well, it's not war, but what most people do, as much as possible, they avoid areas where states of emergencies have been declared. Why? In other words, a police don't have to have any reason. Don't have to declare any reason to you as to why they pull you over. And when I say pull over, whether you're driving, walking, or riding, or flying, the cop have the right. It is a police, it's an authoritative tool, and it's not one to be taken lightly. You are within an area of a public state of emergency. The only thing you can do is comply. You resist the law and you are shot and killed. There may or may not be an inquiry. Depends. But the main thing in which we have to remember as a citizen, whenever you hear that term, state of emergency, it means that your rights as a citizen, all your constitutional rights as a citizen, have been suspended. So it's not something to be taken lightly. All right, next thing. It was declared when? Since this week, about Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhere there. Want to read an article. Shalom, warrior.
Shalom, sir.
You're following this state of emergency thing?
I think you're referring to the one in Spanish Town.
There's another one? You have another one?
That was it. I wasn't sure if there was another one. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I know they have some areas where they call zones of special emergency. Where you see I think it is still in effect in many communities downtown. It is similar to a state of emergency, but they managed to zone it into a particular community. So the government now have to be using these tools like a surgeon, you know, a surgeon going into your intestine or wherever to remove something. They zero in on that location and they cut that location and remove the problem. They have to be using these SOEs in that similar ways. Spanish Town erupted since week. I think you would have seen the video, right? Where people going about their business and have to be scoring all over the place. Shots start leak.
Gun.
But you know, this is not entirely new to Spanish Town. It's not the first it's happening, you know. But it's the first the government have been taking it into hand the way they did. As a matter of fact, it hasn't happened in a long while. Spanish Town was the era, it was where the gallows was, you know. Where they used to, whenever a man is sentenced to die, they get death sentence. Sentenced by hanging. Spanish Town was where the gallows was. So for quite a while, Spanish Town was a quiet place, you know. Bad man don't go through Spanish Town, you know. If they're traveling from one end and they have to cross Spanish Town, they do it as fast as they can. They were afraid of Spanish Town. this was even after the hanging stopped, because they have men still who get death sentence, but they cannot execute the death sentence. I don't know. I don't know. Well, maybe they shouldn't, because I mean, the death sentence that is in the scriptures, when a person commits any one of those crimes in the scripture that requires the death sentence, they cannot blame the system to say it's the system that pushed them to do it, because our laws don't play like that.
Right.
But in Esau's world, a black man is given the death sentence. There are so many things that you can pinpoint to say he was marginalized in all these areas, which would have pushed him to cause these crimes. And Jamaica is no different. A lot of the men who turn to crime in Jamaica do so because of the marginalization of the black male in Jamaica. Economic marginalization, social, in some cases, marginalization. So they have a problem. They end up being victims, well, candidates for crime. And Spanish Town is nowhere different because of the things that are happening in Jamaica. Spanish Town has been, it's one of our major towns which both major political gangs operate. Spanish Town and what the other city the name again? The tourist city, Montego Bay. Spanish Town is a bit worse than Montego Bay, because in Spanish Town the gang activity takes place in the center, the commercialized center of the town. I mean, you could be going, like many times you traveling and you say, all right, you travel through Spanish Town. You cannot go through Spanish Town and it just erupt. However, this is the next thing again to show you that these things are controlled. The day that the shootings take place in Spanish Town, businesses were closed early and the police in some way had an idea what was going to happen. So this is what we talk about. Every time we talk here in UPK Jamaica, when we say crime is controlled in Jamaica, we know what we are saying. Right? Because we have play the news and thing. But I mean, it's not a joke thing, man. This thing here in Jamaica is not for playing. All right, we don't want to start with now. Let me see if I could play this one. All right, this one doesn't have any sound. So the people all right, look at the start.
Spain sounded good again.
All right. People walking about, going about their business, and watch what next happen next. People start run. Why? Peer shot start lick up top.
Gone.
Well, that is Spanish Town. This is not a sound video. All right, right there you see, this I can zoom this. We can zoom a video, zoom a thing, like bring it up, zoom in on a particular thing. We have no tools for that on StreamYard.
Maybe not on StreamYard, but probably if you check in the Chrome, look for the 3 dots. Try zooming in using that. Click on the 3 dots to your right and see if it can zoom in.
Like in order to zoom it to bring it on the StreamYard.
Right, you want to see the video bigger.
Right.
Yeah, the only thing we can think about right now is zooming in using the Chrome browser.
Okay. Okay, I don't even see. All right, we'll give you the options. Okay. All right, let me see where it goes. All right, it's something I want to show. Right here, you see the peanut man. You can see the peanut man. Not see right here. See him there?
Gone.
Yeah, man. That is an Israelite doing what the Most High put us on us as the cursing. Curse in the city, curse in the field. I mean, look at this. This is one section of the city, you know, and look at it. Look like a shanty town. This section of the city doesn't look like a city at all. Anybody look at this would say, is that a city? Well, it's a section of the city. It looks like around the market area or somewhere there. So they put up these shack. These are not houses, you know. These are stalls. Shack stalls. And build them out of crates. But in any case, people going about their business and people have to be, I mean, you're going up the road and then boof, 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 you have to just run down the road, running for your life. But I receive some voice notes since week again, giving you an idea of what really is happening in Spanish Town, you know. And guess what is happening? It's not really so much
Klansman and one other war. So Klansman a war, Klansman and one other man a war, one other man.
Right. So this voice note now telling you that the problem is really the Klansman and one other, the two major political gang, but they are not. It's the news says gang war. But what do you understand gang war to be?
War between rival gangs.
War between rival gangs. That's what we understand gang war to be.
Good.
But the news called this a gang war, but it's not the two gangs that are warring each other. The two gangs are doing something like a house cleaning. That's what the people are saying. So that shows you that there is some amount of control to the violence that is going on, you know. All right, there's another audio. This is audio again.
Spanish Town market that, you know. Them say one car. Spanish Town market that, you know. Them say one car got the market gate and they're there for about 15 minutes. And a man must walk out of the market and them come out of the car and a pure gunshot. bystander, everybody around the surrounding get shot. Like I said, the people them are run. Now I'll set a building ablaze. Come here, say I man them the name of the on trial, them Lego some of them, you know. So from Saturday man just are dead. Then kill 4 man in our shop at Spanish Town Saturday evening. Pure things are going over there now.
No, this is the court's office.
This is the court's office.
This is the building. This is the building that she's talking about. So they set ablaze. It's the court's office. So remember, you know, we have a situation where how much? 30 men from a gang on trial.
God, yeah,
Is that
30.
right? Right.
Yes,
So you have a situation where 30 men on trial from a gang, one of the major gangs. You have this scoring in the town now, where the violence, they shoot up the town, people run for them life, people get shot and so on. And then they set one building ablaze. And guess which building it is?
Look, yeah, Junior said 33, sir. 33.
33 more than we said. 33 people. Guess which building they set ablaze? Guess no?
Salakia, say that again, sir.
All right. Shoot up in the town. People run for them life. People get shot. Some people are dead too, you know. And then they set one building ablaze. Get which building them burn down. They set the fire on.
Look, yeah, I think it's at the court this court building.
Right. This is not the courthouse, you know. You call it the court office.
Okay.
That's the importance of the court office. That is where you keep the records for the court.
Got it.
So the man then just invade the town, blam, 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 shoot, blah, 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 get police and soldiers running. And then they just go into the court's office and set it afire.
Or was a distraction?
Thank you. This is these men setting them men free. All right, and somewhere the court let go some of them the other day. I think June said about 5 of them. All right, let me see if it's this one. You have one of these, we'll show you. See there? And I don't play burning. Big fire. It did work.
No, this is the court's office. This is the court's office.
Firemen reach in time, you know, but they were trying to out it from the roof there. It wasn't working at all.
No, this is the court's office. This is the court's office.
Right. So this is the level of gang warfare that is now in Jamaica. If you remember a couple of years ago, there was some fraud criminal activity, some criminal activities within Ministry of the solid waste management, the ministry that deals with the solid waste management.
Okay.
And it's the same thing. They set the office on fire. Whether the paper disappear or the paper burn, they set the offices on fire and end of investigation. So probably right here now you're going to hear a case. You're going to hear a story that court's office caught fire and the papers for these men, you know, the court papers disappear.
Okay.
That's the level. That is the level of the where gang activities reach in Jamaica now. All right. But this now has led the Prime Minister to now declare the state of emergency. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness. This is which paper this again? Gleaner. Right, JIS. This is a JIS release. Jamaica Information Service. This is the government's arm of what I say now, communication, public communications. All right, I'm going to share the link. Copy. All right, that is the link. I'm going to read it now. Share. I should share it. I should share it too. Share screen. One tab. Right, these declarations in Jamaica, this is no joke. A public state of emergency is not a laughing matter or something to brush off lightly. You will see how serious it is when you drive through Spanish Town and they pull you over and they suspect you have something. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, has announced a state of public emergency, SOE, for the parish of St. Catherine at a virtual press conference on Friday morning, June 17th. So just the state of emergency just declared Friday. Mr. Holness said he advised the Governor General to declare the SOE based on the recommendation of the Chief of Defense Staff and the Commissioner of Police. This is, but the Chief of Defense Staff, not the Prime Minister. Or is it the Minister of National Security? This is as a result of the high level of crime in the parish, particularly murders, over the past months. Prime Minister Holness said that the preservation and protection of life is the first responsibility of the government. That is true. First responsibility of all individuals is to protect life. As a matter of fact, that is why you get a licensed firearm. Preserve life and property. protect life and property. The main cause of violence that creates the kind of fear, indeed terror, that we are seeing in some communities is as a result of the organized criminal activity of gangs and guns, and the young men in particular that they recruit. All right, remember, I think it was last week we were talk about where the Prime Minister says that they're asking companies to provide work for these unattached youths, and that is true. These men who are not who they term as unattached, they are recruited by these gangs. The government of Jamaica cannot sit by and see innocent Jamaicans going about their business on their way to work or from the market and having to be scoring for their lives. Obviously, he saw that same video because that was exactly what was happening. That video circulated on the internet. And these people going about their business, going to market, going to work, and have to be running for their life. The government has to act. That is the government's responsibility, he said. Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson said that the high level of violent crimes being experienced in St. Catherine, particularly over the last 2 months, has risen to a scale and nature that greatly endangers public safety. He said that organized and highly violent criminal gangs, affiliate and breakaways factions are engaged in deadly inter and intra-gang conflicts. It's inter and intra. It's intra-gang a go on, man. No inter-gang. No, they're not cross-fighting. It's inter-gang conflicts. These conflicts have reached the stage where family members, including the parents of gangsters, have been killed in reprisals and counter reprisals. All right, you notice what it says. The parents. We have a law in our laws against this, about this. I wonder if I can find that one. Where is it? It's in Leviticus. Bear with me a moment. It's in Deuteronomy 21, and let's see if that's what it is talking about. Deuteronomy 21. Unsolved murders. Right. Deuteronomy 21. Deuteronomy 21, verse 18 to 21.
Canada one can. Canada one can. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 18. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them. Verse 19. Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him, and bring him out unto the elders of his city, and unto the gate of his place.
All right. So when you talk about him laying hold on him, you know, it means they are going to, by all means, hold him. Just like when the police come for you and they decide that they're going to catch you, handcuff you, and bring you in. That's what this is talking about. You're supposed to hold that son. And it is the mother and the father who should arrest him and bring him out unto the elders of his city. So the city that he's in, right? Our cultures were, it's the elders who run and make the decisions in the city. All right, there are times when you had the prophet of the Most High who ran circuit, go around cities to cities and judge in matters in which are bigger than the elders. They call that circuit. Until today, we have circuit court. So this is now our scripture telling you that these men that are rebellious son, the mother and the father should hold him, take him to the elders of the city. Continue.
Canada one can. Verse 20. And they shall say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard.
A glutton and a drunkard. That is where it begins. They name out everything out of the house and drink out everything, drink alcohol like what? That's where it begins. 21.
Canada one can, verse 21. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear.
So, back to this news now. So, this is a death sentence on a rebellious son. Your mother and father can't talk to you. Our laws, our laws don't joke, you know. Our laws are serious. You know. Our laws say you should be put to death if your mother and your father cannot talk to you. Back to what the news article is saying now. The news article right here says that where is it? Right. He said that organized and highly violent criminal gangs, affiliate and breakaway factions are engaged in deadly inter and intra-gang conflicts. These conflicts have reached a stage where family members, including the parents of gangsters, have been killed in reprisals and counter-reprisals. So we know we're not going to play the hypocrite. In UPK, we try, as we don't play the hypocrite, right? And we know that many of the parents are the ones who put up with this rebellious son. They see him from him little and him grow and come up, you know. And they know that this son is going to become a rebellious son. That is why in our laws it put the onus on the parents. You are the parents, you are the ones who are supposed to identify this rebellious son from him in the family, from him young coming up. So that you, because if you, the parents, can't talk to him, who's going to talk to him? You think you're going to fear police and soldier and whatever. Many times we think the parents believe that, yeah, you don't hear me, you're going to hear the police. No, you're not, they're not going to hear the police. The police is going to kill them. That is what is going to happen. And what we're seeing here now, why, trust me, chicken coming home to roost in more ways than one, because these parents who know that they have a rebellious son and family members and does nothing about it. You see what happened now? The reprisal killing. Them go out and do things, you know. People now know that that's where him live. This is who him related to. They can't catch him. And you know this saying, can't catch Kwaku, you catch him short. This is what happens within our society. And it is as real as you opening your eye and seeing the sun. These are the things that happen. But the onus is on the parents to identify these rebellious sons. You notice the law, our law does say the rebellious daughter. It's the son that is the problem. You can't curb the woman. It's difficult curbing the son when he's gone. When our daughters turn old, but you know, you can't have whore without the buyers, you know. Which is why in UPK we encourage our brothers in UPK and our brothers in the world. No, you don't live, don't buy whores. We tell our sisters, our daughters, don't be a whore. But we tell the brothers, don't buy whore.
And because,
yeah.
And many of these households are, you know what I mean, predominantly in the garrison, single parent household where the you know what I mean, no father,
single parent,
disciplinarian is not present.
Yeah, this very mother kick out the father should try to prove a point, say, oh, I can't live and grow my picking without him.
God.
Because he might have another wife, which is his right, and you don't like it because you're so selfish. You just pack up and leave. The child don't see him father. Then when that son reach 12, 13, because that's a year now, the age when them start becoming a man.
Right.
Right, and start to, oh, mommy enough to talk to me. But he will hear the father. And the father roll that voice and you hear what your mommy said? It's a total different thing. Right? And they are the fathers not in the home. The mothers get them out of the house. So this is what happened now. They become rebellious. The law have to deal with them. They go out and do things and reprisal reach your family. And this is the problem there in Spanish Town. Commissioner Anderson said that the parish has 12 active gangs in conflict. You see? So they know the gangs. That is why Omar, what name? Omar Davis? No, Omar something like that. One person, Omar, who is the Homer. I think a Homer Davis in name, you know. Minister without responsibility in the office of the Prime Minister. I think he was the one. Or was it the Montego Bay politician who asked for, who said the police them should call in the gangs and sit down and have a meeting with them because they know the gangs. Here they know that there's 12 active gangs in Spanish Town, which can result in murders and shootings at any given time. Since the beginning of the year, 82 persons have been arrested for illegal possession of firearm, ammunition, or both, with 59 illegal guns seized, which is an increase of 28% compared to 2021. But I remember 2020 and 2021, we spoke in class, we tell you that crime was going to increase because after these lockdowns, we have persons who do them hustling daily to survive, and you lock them down for months. What do you think going to happen? Crime, they're going to go. The first, just like how the government said, protect is duty to protect life. The first responsibility of protecting life is not the government protecting you, is you protecting yourself. That is the first self-preservation that every person have. So it's a person not going to sit down and die of hunger just like that. And unless you're in the wilderness, but once you're in an era where people have and you don't have, they're going to trouble your things. Which is why we say crime is a social problem, and the government know this. In the St. Catherine South, 58 murders were recorded for the period, which is the same as last year, and there were 53 shootings, representing an increase in 23% over the 43 recorded last year. All right, so that is statistics. All right, enough of that. There's other thing we want to share as well. So you see a situation where Jamaica now, reaping what they have sown in the past, right? All right, we're going to play this excerpt now from TVJ News. We can't make this one. We cannot leave this one. This one came from TVJ News since this week. This one was which day news? Midday News, June 16. That is when? About Thursday, I think. All right. How do I share it again? Share. More bloodletting in Spanish Town.
Communities within the Spanish Town area are still tense this afternoon following the recent increase in murders. Over the last 3 weeks, there have been heightened tension in the St. John's Road and Homestead areas. But on Tuesday, that gang war spilled over into the parish capital. 6 persons were shot, 2 fatally by gunmen and 1 individual by the police. The Member of Parliament for St. Catherine Central, Olivia Grange, has since condemned the incident.
But what we're experiencing is people driving into the constituency and shooting at innocent individuals and other persons, and this is now creating great attention.
Since Tuesday, a curfew has been imposed in a number of communities, but even with the curfew in place, a woman was killed last night in the community of Homestead. She has been identified as 44-year-old Nikisha Pottinger. It's understood that the woman was told by the police to stay away from Homestead following a recent fatal shooting. Her fiancé, however, says that's not true. The man, who did not want to appear on camera, told us that Nikisha received several gunshots as she tried to run away from the gunmen last night. He told our news team that he was the one who rushed her to hospital. Overcome with tears, he recounted her last words.
She said that tell the kids them she love them. Because I thought she was going to make it, But it seemed like she knew she was going to make it. She said, tell the kids them I love them. And I must remember the promise I made her 15 years ago. So I must behave, keep myself out of certain things. Was it hard? Keep that promise? No.
In the meantime, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chan is not ruling out an extension of the curfew in the Market District in Spanish Town. The 48-hour curfew expires at 6 o'clock this evening.
Have the authority to extend it for further 48 hours if the leadership of the force.
Right. This news, I think, was Thursday. The SOE was declared, I think, Friday. So this news was before the SOE was declared.
Requires it, it will be given. That's the call of the security forces. So the idea of a curfew is to literally put some calm in the situation, restore some stability, and then give the security force some space to investigate and find out the miscreants out here.
Shade Masters, TVJ.
And Mayor of Spanish Town, Norman Scott, is this afternoon defending himself in the wake of criticisms following the shooting spree in Spanish Town. Mr. Scott is being accused of knowing about an attempt to cause mayhem in the town and did very little about it. Jamila Maitland has that angle.
Mayor of Spanish Town in St. Catherine, Norman.
All right, listen this part, you know. This is the part which is telling you that the authorities knew that it was going to happen.
Norman Scott continues to defend his position for not demanding swift actions from the police about news that there would be mayhem in the old capital days before it unfolded. He said information about the intended chaos in the town was brought to his attention from Monday. Mr. Scott said that attempts to contact the police who had information about the mayhem were unsuccessful. Now, he's insisting that the police should have done more.
The fact that this was not private information, I expected the police to take proactive actions.
Is the reason Mayor Scott believed the knowledge of the mayhem was nothing new to the business community.
Businesses were closed early. So and as the mayor of the town, I hear that the businesses were closed. Why did they close? Oh, they hear that men are coming to do things. And so they close early. Oh, the roads are blocked because they don't want anybody to pass through, whatever. If I hear those things, then why the police would not have heard those things? As a matter of fact, I said, the police was the one who called my disaster coordinator to advise her that this was happening.
In the meantime, he also reasoned that the police have taken a selective approach to dealing with crime in the capital.
Right, so in talking about police knew it was going to happen. The business people knew it was going to happen. Other persons, authoritative figure, knew it was going to happen. So no doubt the politicians knew it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. So all these persons knew it was going to happen and nobody could do anything to stop it. I don't know.
Whenever there is violence in another section of the town, then the police would be on it. They would be calling out the names of the gangs that are involved, and so you would find more police personnel coming into the town, and things would have been brought under control much quicker. I still ask the question: why wasn't it done on the other side of the town?
A series of shootings along Job Lane, Cumberland Road, and William and French streets sent shoppers scampering for cover on Tuesday. Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
All right. So what he's claiming now is that the police is a bit biased in the crime fighting. When they hear about things happening in one section of the city and in the town or the community, they would be on it, name call, all kind of something, blah blah blah. And when they hear of something on another side, they move at snail pace. But you know, for quite a while now, probably about 2 years now or so, I've been hearing the argument that the police in Spanish Town is a bit divided. divided in terms of the same major gangs. Some of them say, oh, them are YAHANNA, and some say, oh, them are clansmen. These are cops, you know.
Okay, God.
So if that is the case, probably what our Prime Minister need to do is to just shake up the whole of Spanish Town, just move everybody. I don't know. If you seriously want to fight crime in Spanish Town, you're going to have to perform some serious surgery. You know, Andrew Oles did not come up in this kind of violent political thing, you know. I mean, he had some, the constituency in which he was in had some violent areas, but him by nature is not, you know, like you have some seasoned politician in a violent who like I'll through what they're clearing, I don't know. When they say a man and get trouble. When they say a man and get trouble, they call him and say, I hear about you, you know. But there's one thing I'm telling you, what you're going to do for me? Just go down with her and pick out a casket. Don't worry about how it's going to pay for. Just pick one way you love. I saw him quell film. I saw him quell film the violent persons in his constituency. But you know, but I'm sure if you Andrew still, you know. But coming up, watching him not look like that kind of person. So him probably seriously want to do something about the crime.
Right.
Probably his hands is tied. Maybe. Because you have certain figures, if you touch them so their links is so big that they might get back at him in some way. Just like Bruce. Bruce wanted to make a change, you know. And what Bruce end up doing, damaging his own career. Because Bruce, yeah.
And due to the foundation that, you know what I mean, our political parties were founded on, you know what I mean, the division and the crime and the gang, and the drug and all them things, especially with Andrew Holness party. So now, when he want to make that change there, the foundation already set. You know what I mean?
Thank you. And as I talk about the foundation being set, that foundation was set from 70s, 80s, somewhere there about.
70s to the 80s, gone.
All right.
And Slakia, sir, to the point where you say the officers, them, enough I say clans, some I say one other, you know what I mean? Means say the force, you know what I mean? The force corrupted. You understand? Me have a little precept, Ecclesiasticus 10 and 2, and it says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. You understand? And because the system don't corrupt and the leaders them corrupt, you know what I mean? You can't expect no difference if the politician them involved with the gangs them. You know what I mean? You're not gonna expect no better more than the police them are gonna involve in the gangs and the officers them are gonna corrupt too. You understand?
Yeah, because you are an ordinary police, maybe at the rank of sergeant or inspector. But you realize that everybody above you is not swinging to be non-corrupt.
Right.
The only thing that person do is one of two things. Either I'm going to just outright resign, or him join the dirty water.
Right.
And in many cases, because of they were already so socialized, they don't have a problem in joining the dirty water.
Good.
Because that dirty water is already, they grew in it. They grew up in it, so to speak. So they don't have a problem swimming in such dirty water. And this was when this was how this water was beginning, the water began to get dirty.
Will let you comment every so often on this, okay? What in the years that you've been publishing it do you think are some of your most significant revelations? Are there some stories that even shocked you?
Well, I think one of the big stories that we were able to document in some detail was the whole scope of CIA activities similar to what the CIA did in Chile, and which was documented by the Senate Select Committee, was the whole covert action program in Jamaica in between 1976 and 1980. And we did a great deal of research into that, and we discovered in many ways, a very similar program, almost a classic model that was followed along the lines of what they did in Chile, including three major categories: military, paramilitary activity, the use of propaganda in the media, and the third one, which was economic warfare, using the multilateral organizations, the International Monetary Fund and others, to withhold loans which had been promised to the Jamaican government. This is one example.
What are a couple more of the details of that? You particularly mentioned those first two examples of actual paramilitary activity the CIA was involved in Jamaica.
There was a fire, for example, that took place in Jamaica of an old people's home. I think 150 old and infirmed women, many of them blind, were living in the home, and as it turned out, the place burned down in the space of about 8 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes. It was discovered that the phone wires had been cut and that the exits had all been blocked. Even those who could see their way out could not get out. And that the means by which the fire was set was the use of a petroleum jelly, which was unavailable in Jamaica. This was one indication, among others, that there was outside help. Why would the CIA, you might ask, why would the CIA want to murder 150 old women? It was because it was an effort, part of a very large-scale effort to discredit the government in Jamaica, which was at the time...
All right, so you see, people, and this is where the politicians, oh, you think this gang now just realize, you know, create a scene, bust some shot, kill some, make it look real, shoot after people, cause mayhem in the town. But the aim is really to burn down the court office. So this is where they learn it. It's the same thing. What the CIA did, kill 150 people, old women. What was the aim? It's not that they're not against these women, really. These were pawns in the game. They use these 150 women to what? Destabilize and cause uproar in the Jamaican government. So this is what I tell you. Our men, you know, they learn these things from the heathen. They did not do them on their own. All them criminal activities, you see our men doing, scamming. It was the heathen Amites who taught them in Montego Bay. Drug trade, it's the same white supremacists, what you call them? And the white supremacy they made a push on Jamaica, you know. This was all. Who do you think we were fighting who do you think Michael Manley was fighting? It was the military industrial complex. They had a grip on our bauxite because the bauxite give them aluminum. The aluminum made these planes that they wanted to make, them F-16s. Well, F-16 didn't make a long time. But all them bad fighter jet and thing. And the bombs, these were aluminum base. So they had a grip on our bauxite. Michael Manley wanted to tax the bauxite, remove a lot of the grip that they had on the country. It caused a problem. They send in their agent in the form of Seattle, destabilize the country, take power, reverse things, set it back to their way. Babsy Grange is one who did, in an interview, there was an interview on YouTube, which I was searching for it, where she was saying, you know, after the whole thing go down and thing, and the interviewer answered, She was saying, well, obviously there was powers out there who wanted things to go a certain way. So now that things are back the way that they want it. And she said a similar thing in this uproar in the violence in Spanish Town, that you know, they are the younger men, them they're not really a follow the you know, say, you know, the disciplines that were set before them. They want to go off and do them own thing. So this entire thing is classically coming from the Eden, and our people, they are falling for it, and they are dying. It's not the Edens that are dying, it's we are dying. And we need to wake up and realize that we in the UPK is not, we're not telling you the wrong, we're not telling you lies.
Right.
You see? Your Christian pastor not telling you any damn thing. The Christian pastor obviously want to see you die. They don't bring these things out to our young men and let them, all they want to do is come in the church and pay your tithes. Now, a person who lives in a community, one of these troubled communities, how are you going to just tell that person, come pay your tithes and everything all right? No go so. If that was the case, the problem would have been solved thousands of years ago. Right? But the problem is the works. It's the works. The work that these young men are doing, the work that the stage has been set with the fatherless children. Anyway, let's listen more of what this man's saying.
Headed by Michael Manley, Prime Minister. There were images produced of Michael Manley in the media, in the Daily Gleaner, which was the newspaper which the United States, through the CIA, helped to support. And there is a good deal of evidence of that. There were images of Michael Manley showing a death mask. I mean, it was his face which had been somehow made to look like a death mask, although it was pretending to be a photograph of him. And there were many ways to try and discredit him. This is very, very similar, in fact, to what the CIA did to try and discredit Salvador Allende in Chile. If you remember, Richard Nixon instructed the CIA in a meeting which was in 1970 in the White House, and there was a document in the Senate report which is reprinted, and he said, "Make the economy scream." Those were his words. And that's, of course, what the CIA proceeded to do in Chile, and that's what they also did in Jamaica.
They also furnished a lot of munitions and assistance to the terrorist squads that were going around killing people in the cities and also in the countryside in Jamaica as well.
That's correct.
So you see what these gunmen did in Spanish Town? They combined the terrorist squad to what the CIA did with the Golden Age home. That's what they did, you know. The terrorist squad, what the terrorist squad did was to go around in the town, terrorize the people that time, bust shot, shoot people. I think the day before, a day or two before that, they killed 4 people in one bar, in one shop, one of the community shops. Going to kill 4 people, terrorize the community. But the aim was to destroy the court office. So, I mean, our people, they are learning. Why not teach them good things?
Good.
They would learn the good things just as good, you know. But why you unleash an organization like the Central Intelligence Agency and the military industrial complex on a small place like Jamaica? You shouldn't have done that. And because of that, you're going to pay. You Edens are going to pay for this. And you're going to pay dearly. You're going to go and pay the rest of your life, of your children's life, and your children's life. You're going to pay. You're not going to go unpunished.
John, you had a trip down to Jamaica and you saw a lot of these things about Jamaica with your own eyes, right?
Yes, indeed. A very moving, a very interesting trip to me to see a target country at a time in the height of a CIA operation when I was completely outside. So there's no way that I could see the problem that journalists have always had when the U.S. government was targeting on a country in a situation, trying to destabilize it, overthrow or manipulate the elections or whatever, of trying to figure out what's going on when you don't have access to all of the flow of cables and the discussions in National Security Council meetings and whatnot, or the planning. I observed that from published information, the CIA station there was quite large for that size of a country. It was huge, in fact. It was bigger than any station I knew of in Africa, although Jamaica was a fairly small island with 2 million people.
You hear that? The operation in Jamaica, in his estimate, because he has seen operations in bigger countries, and the operation is not as big as in Jamaica. So he's wondering why they have this big operation. Well, now you see it.
Right.
Our politics now come in full circle. The young men has learned, and they are bringing out these things. And what is going to happen? You see what happened now? You bring a state of emergency in. All these men are doing is doing what they learn. And one of our viewers just typed in that he understand that more of these men will be freed. As a matter of fact, all of them probably be freed by Monday. I don't know if it's by the actions that they burn out the documents in the court's office. Because if you destroy all the papers, then, I mean, you have nothing to go by. We're going to retry. What they're going to do now? Retry? I don't know. We'll see how it play out. But there's another one which is a little more in-depth than this one. I want to play that other one. All right, maybe we'll touch our scripture before we play another one. Give me. Where am I? Zechariah 11:5.
Gunner one gun. Gunner one gun. This is the book of Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
So here we have now, the heathens who have taught us them kind of gang violence and them kind of terrorist operations, right? They don't think that they are guilty. To me, that's not how we are doing it. And even our pastors and so will tell you that, oh, I don't know why man will sit down here and do anything. But the scripture now, and this is why we cannot deviate from our God. Because our God is living. Our God is not wood and stone. We don't think for our God. Our God think for us. All them other nations who have them gods of wood and stone. The Muslim with the big cover stone. They think for their gods. In other words, they set the narrative. But our Father set the narrative. Our God, Yahweh, He set the narratives of how we should go. He think for us. So He is letting us know that it is our possessors that is killing us. and they are behind the scene, holding themselves not guilty. Me, I have nothing to do with it. But you set the ball rolling from between 75 to 80.
Right.
And here in 2022, at about what, some 30 odd years after, almost 40 odd years, the ball is still rolling. But you know, the most I believe in a circle, you know. So when you push something, it comes back around. So you have to be careful what you push out. People tell you, what goes around comes around. This is talking about circle. Yeah. Which is why, in the end, all these heathen are going to pay for what they do to our people. And they believe that because they're over us and rich, it is the Most High that is blessing them. You are being blessed by your own evil hand, and it's not a blessing. You're going to see what it becomes. All right, where's the other one now? I want to play another.
Of America. They are angering themselves. They are not going to any population.
All right, this was when the seed was being sown. 70s coming up.
Why are we taking this risk to anger the United States of America? And the answer is this: we are not angering the United States of America. They are angering themselves. They are not going to any what relationship I have with Fidel Castro. We have that friendship with Cuba as part of a world alliance of third world nations that are fighting for justice for poor people in the world. As long as this party is in power, we intend to walk through the world on our feet and not on our knees.
You know what? Them Edens are easy. You know that's what the PNP was pushing back in those days. It was the mandate from the PPP, the People's Political Party, formed by Marcus Garvey.
Marcus Garvey, God.
Yeah. It was his mandate that they were pushing in the PNP. After them kill him out, they took his mandate, farm up the PNP, and that was it. That's why you know this. Where does it now? The stance that he's make, the strength in putting in talk and so on. It's all Marcus Garvey. That is straight from the PPP.
God.
And this, by the way, is another video from, I think the name Illicit History. We're not using this for any monetary gain, so it's not our work. It is this man, but it covers more than what the interview that we played. They talk about, they show you a lot more what happened under the CIA and the IMF who came in after.
Michael Manley was a Jamaican prime minister, democratic socialist, leader of the international non-aligned movement, and someone who had, in fact, a very tragic political story. Michael Manley was the son of a Jamaican independence leader. Norman Manley was a liberal, someone to the sort of center-left, focused on Jamaican independence, well-educated, upper class, and certainly not one with a common touch or particularly radical agenda. Michael Manley was very privileged, was educated at the London School of Economics, but he inherited a much more intense charisma than his father, as well as a robust commitment to anti-imperialism, anti-colonialism, and, in fact, democratic socialism. He took office in 1972, and he did implement a series of reforms. Land reform, he expanded education programs, he eliminated discrimination for children born out of wedlock, and implemented other significant reforms. In 1975, Agostinho Neto's Marxist-oriented popular movement for the liberation of Angola led Angola to a hard-fought independence. Almost immediately, the South African apartheid regime invaded. Fidel Castro offered his aid, but the well-trained and equipped Cuban forces were an ocean away. Cuban forces needed to refuel on their way to Angola, and Manley, along with Forbes Burnham in Guyana and Errol Barrel in Barbados, agreed to provide landing bases and diplomatic cover for the Cuban forces. Washington objected strongly to this, and Henry Kissinger went personally to see Manley and demand that his government withdraw support. He declined Kissinger's request and pushed Kissinger's hand out of his face. This
Right, so this is what now. Kissinger, you know who was Henry Kissinger? Henry Kissinger was I think a CIA man, you know. He came to Jamaica personally in Michael Manley time and contacted Michael and said, "Top support them." That was Castro. Michael said, "No, you're not going to tell us what to do." It's the same thing now with Ukraine. You know what about Ukraine is an independent nation free to do what they want to do. But in our time, you didn't treat us as an independent nation who was free to do what we want to do, right? But you know, because the shoe is on the other foot, where Russia is the one over there now. You're saying, no, Ukraine is an independent nation. They make their own decisions, they do what they want to do, and I'm going to support them. Well, it was the same thing. Michael see himself as being independent and free to do what he wanted to do.
Along with opposition of the old school aristocracy and oligarchy of Jamaica, led to increasing pressure on the Manley government. By 1975, you saw immense acts of political violence and intensity. By this point in the 70s, you had cities like Kingston split up into different garrisons, different neighborhoods that were represented by different parties that would distribute patronage in different networks. Depending on whose party was in charge, could affect your building contracts, your housing, your employment contracts, and your social welfare.
Now, this was two, Southside and Tel Aviv. This was two great names back in the days, which was heavily involved in the political violence, Southside Tel Aviv.
And in order to get out the vote in these neighborhoods, there were gunmen and gangs associated with both of the major parties, the People's National Party, as led by Michael Manley, and the Jamaica Labor Party, led by Edward Seaga. Now, the Jamaica Labor Party, unlike its name might indicate, was the party of the right, although it did have some connections with certain Jamaican labor unions. This, along with what many allege was a sort of beginning of a CIA destabilization campaign of Jamaica, which would accelerate throughout the latter part of the 70s as a result of Manley's charting an independent foreign policy and jeopardizing capitalist and traditional interests in Jamaica.
You see what happening now with our people? It's white man teaching them to fire gun and to shoot at each other. You know? So, right. You know, this is the danger of the white Christ in our brothers' mind. Right. The white Christ in their mind, let them believe that what it is coming from the white man, it is good. So here they are now taking formal training, formal shooting, how to kill them own brother. Learning that from the white man, but here you have the white Christ in their mind say, it must be good. I must be the bad one. They can't do any wrong. Well, we in the UPK is telling you the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
And you have to listen to the voice of your people here in the UPK. Pretty soon you're going to see who is the one that mean you good. And you're going to realize that when we tell you sisters stop the whoring and we tell you brothers stop the bloodletting, stop the drunkardness, stop the smoking, stop killing each other, you're going to realize that we tell you these because we love you.
Right.
They will go in the secret group that is trying to mash up the country. We'll go in among the youth and find one that...
Hey, boy, listen this. Listen this part here that he's talking about. This is what is happening today, for real. And he is telling you that this was what was being taught to our people.
Look like a leader. And they call him one side and they say, hey, brother, we drop you $1,000 on the side if you get the boys tomorrow night to go down across the road and carry out a raid. But you don't know that it is a destabilization agent that has paid somebody to come among him and sell the idea of starting a bitch of a street fight.
Well, there you have it now. Destabilization agents. This is like wolf. This is what the scripture tells you about the wolf in sheep clothing that come among you. All right, this is, I'm putting in the link for this video that we're watching. All right. Play a little more of it.
He won re-election in 1976 in spite of increased violence, pressure from SIAGA, and almost certainly pressure from the United States. As his term wore on, the combination of destabilization campaign, in fact alleged by a rogue CIA agent, Philip Agee, who quit the agency and actually exposed and specifically named agents on the ground, independent pressure, U.S. corporations fleeing, investment pulling back, and then, of course, that cycle that you did see in the 70s where there was deficit spending in vital investments in education and public services and relieving poverty, but there also wasn't a sort of general kind of liberation of resources and other vital factors in the Jamaican economy. So the middle class.
You see those empty shelves that you see in America? You see those empty shelves you see, and they're showing you, this was in the 70s, you know. Empty shelves. What was happening? It was an economic war. It's the same thing that is happening in America now. But because no shot was firing, people think that it was just, you know, hard times. That is how our people can call it, you know, hard times. But it was an economic war. And it's the same thing that is hitting America now. All America's enemies are there in America operating, you know. You see the empty shelves, you see the gas price going up, all them lobby groups and things, which our brothers brought out, I think was out last night. That's what is happening in America. The similar thing happening here in Jamaica. So you see all them politicians, in America, yeah, man, the chicken coming home to roost on them, man. Yeah. All what you see that they speak of here. That it is what is happening in America now.
has started to leave, tourism was hurt, commodity prices for things like bauxite went down. After some hesitation and an attempt to consult Jamaican people through a popular initiative, Manley chose the IMF. A series of agreements increasing austerity tore into the few advances that the foreign working people had made, contributing to Manley's declining popularity and shifting balances of nationality.
So you see what happened now? They put him under pressure. What he had to do now? Turn to the IMF. Because they know the policies that the IMF have, that they will be giving Manley, is of no use to Jamaica.
And in 1980, Edward Siaka would win. It would be another enormously violent election with very heavy artillery. There were 189 reported murders. The other aspect of this killing, and this will lead us to Siaka specifically, is that there is a gang called the Shower Posse, which was able to rise in Jamaica when Siaka took power in the 1980s. And the Shower Posse was led by a guy named Jim Brown, or Lester Cope, who was a personal bodyguard and political enforcer for.
All right, I want you to listen. I didn't know this about Jim Brown. Listen this.
Edward Siaka, and was able to, in fact, travel on a diplomatic passport.
All right, listen that again.
Personal bodyguard and political enforcer for Edward Siaka, and was able to, in fact, travel on a diplomatic passport. Edward Siaka defeated.
So Jim Brown was basically a Jamaican diplomat under Siaka. And what you and I in the streets know Jim Brown to be?
A regular
You have that one?
Just a regular Dan.
A Dan?
Dan.
Not a regular Dan, no. He wasn't a regular Dan. We know him to be a strong Dan. But he was a diplomat. He had diplomatic passport. So why me can't get one? You and I should have one, in the UPK, We are diplomats. We should, our government, Mr. Andrew, you're listening to me, you need to provide 2 diplomatic passports for us here in the UPK. As a matter of fact, about 3. 4 will do, but we start you off with 2 so that we can travel to our brothers and bring you back good tidings in this country, right? Because the country going down a ditch. I want to take in with you the Lord's people, and you are going to pay. Better give you 2 diplomatic passports. Or my brother, Officer Kayadwan need one. He need him visa to go celebrate the Lord's feasts in America. But here what you have now, criminals being diplomats. I never know that Jim Brown did have diplomatic passport.
The democratic socialism of Michael Manley. He was associated and very close with the Reagan administration. There were comparisons between him and the Duvalier regime in Haiti. He came to power, he implemented austerity, he liberalized markets, he helped the DEA in a very ruthless crackdown of marijuana cultivation in Jamaica. So an economic assault on what Manley had attempted to do in terms of creating broader prosperity and a form of social democracy in Jamaica, a reorienting towards the traditional land-holding elites that control Jamaica, very, very small group of people, sort of remnants of colonial occupation. Then he sort of returned Jamaica to the orbit of the United States as a client state. All of these things were synchronized at the same time with the Shower Posse. Basically, the Shower Posse is in the United States. They're also fighting rival gangs back inside New York and other places who had fled because they had been on the losing side of the 1980 election. And they are credited with setting up incredibly sophisticated crack distribution networks across the United States, credited with upwards of 1,400 murders or more, according to some estimates. They were, in fact, personally selected by Colombia's Cali cartel to handle a lot of mid-level work inside its distribution routes. In 1985, Siaga imposes a gas tax and other forms of austerities that are sort of harsher. There's a major reaction on the island. There's riots, there's protests, but still no change in policy or governance. The relentless violence of the shower posse crosses the radar of U.S. officials, both in terms of the sort of weapons smuggling going in and out of Jamaica, a lot of course, the weapons going from the United States back into Jamaica, but also across state lines in the United States, and an incredibly vicious murder that Jim Brown, Lester Koch himself, was implicated in 1985 in Miami, killing several people at a crack house. In the late 1980s, there was a broad...
So you mean to tell me that our big diplomat get fingered in shooting? What, he was a shutter still in? Get fingered in shooting at a crack house in America? So you travel on your diplomatic passport to do that? No. We here in the UPK wouldn't do that. The only thing we want to go to states to do is to go and celebrate the Most High's feasts. Would love to go and celebrate all of them up there with our brothers. All the feasts with our brothers. Bring all of us out here, celebrate with our brothers.
U.S. crackdown. What emerged out of this finally in 1992 was that Koch, who had operated with complete impunity, including murdering a minibus driver in broad daylight in Kingston and getting acquitted, was arrested by Jamaican police and awaiting extradition to the United States. Koch was burned alive in his prison cell while awaiting extradition. And the very grounded rumor is that Edward Siaga ordered the killing because Koch was threatening to flip on him and testify about broader linkages between both Siaga personally and his labor government, the cocaine trade. In 1989, Manley would actually return to power as a very softened and diminished figure. He had spent time in the 1980s writing. He lectured at Columbia University and City College and other places. And by the time of his return to power, he was ready to accept the world as it was, the strictures of global economics, very actively sought foreign direct investment. He did not want to anger the United States or the IMF or World Bank. He did maintain in some independence and connection to Cuba. He did increase social investments and try to still deliver for the communities that he still could speak pretty passionately about. The PNP was designed to serve.
What therefore do we in Jamaica, we in the People's National Party, what do we think are the realities with which we must deal? We are mostly cases of small economies. We almost all reflect that structural dependence, which is the legacy of the long colonial experience.
By this point, both as someone who had been victimized in the international system and as the international currents had shifted so much in such a neoliberal direction, Michael Manley became almost a prototype of the type of third-way politics that would jet across the globe in the 1990s. Koch's son took over the shower posse. They stopped operating so flamboyantly in the United States, though they still certainly were major drug traffickers in New York and Canada as well. They brought back home a lot of violence to Jamaica, and Christopher Koch actually built out Tivoli Gardens, which is this housing development that plays an important role in both the gang and their links to the Jamaica Labor Party. He ran...
By the way, the drug trade that ran using Jamaica as a transshipment point en route to the United States, that drug trade was run by the CIA and the FBI to a lesser extent. But the CIA was the one behind it. They were the ones who came out here and formed the shower posse. Jim Brown get diplomatic passport to travel and set up his posse in America. You see, the fingers of gangs and criminality run deep, right? It's not just the men that you see on the street making the trouble. It runs deep.
And Tivoli Gardens was in complete control and also cultivated a Robin Hood image for himself. He paid for schools, he paid for clothing, he paid for people's funerals if they needed to. He helped people get jobs, he helped people get placed in college. He, of course, was raised both as the son of a top gangster, but also went to Jamaica's best schools and mixed with Jamaica's elite. There was speculation in Bruce Golding's term, who was Prime Minister of Jamaica, also a member of Edward Seaga's Labour Party, that not only did Coke help him get elected, but also that Coke had potentially even more power or even more centrality. His nickname was the President. That was where they were in 2010, the Obama administration pressuring the Golding administration to extradite Dudas for his role in drug trafficking in New York and for various other racketeering crimes. And the government being so committed to protecting him, they did in fact hire a lobbying firm in an attempt to get the Obama administration to reverse that decision. Eventually, Golding would actually fold to U.S. pressure and betray his gangster associate. And this would lead to an incursion in Tivoli Gardens in the spring of 2010 that killed over 70 civilians. By all reports, the buildup of the story was that if the army comes in, the shower posse will protect Dudas, the community will protect him, the community would be fortified with sandbags. There were gangsters that were trained in heavy artillery. The gang certainly had heavy artillery and snipers. When police, when military, when other figures that really had serious power, they came in, and by all accounts, they engaged in mass atrocities and killings. Days later, Coke would eventually be arrested. He was not even in Tivoli Gardens with his people. He was in fact arrested. He was dressed as a woman in the car of a priest. He, unlike his father, was extradited to the United States. He pled guilty to a variety of...
We always tell you that these gunmen are Christians. They are. Dudus. When they want to do this, when they found Dudas, who they found him with? They found him with a priest. What was the name again? Reverend Al Miller. Yeah, we can't call him name because it's public news. Once again, this video that we are playing here, it's from a set of people named the Illicit History. It's not our work, but it is the history of the gangs, and it gives you a history of the gangs and criminal violence in Jamaica. So hence we're using it. We're not using it for monetary gain. So don't shut down with videos and tell us we are using other people's material. We know that we're using other people's material, which is in the public domain, but we're using it for educational purposes.
Drug charges and is now serving time in prison. The shower posse, what was left of it in Jamaica now, attempts to operate in a more discreet fashion, and there is a different, definitely de-escalated sense of kind of state capture in Jamaica. But the underlying problems of poverty, structural violence that story tells us, going back to U.S. foreign policy, going back to weaponizing the Jamaica Labour Party, potentially even giving paramilitary training to members of the posse, which would in some ways explain some of the sophistication that the gang brought to operations in the 1980s crack trade. It all goes back to structural variables.
These governments have been so crippled by the International Monetary Fund that they have nothing to dispense. So basically what you're seeing, and you're seeing it all over the world, you're seeing it in Mexico, you're seeing it in Colombia, you're seeing it in Jamaica, and all the islands throughout the Caribbean, is a withering away of the power of the state. You're seeing states that are now so impotent so unable to really provide for their own people, that the drug trade.
All right, so what this woman, Laurie Gunst, what she's talking about, you notice the countries that she called all Israelite states. So this is the new design that is coming up now, you know. Create a vacuum in these countries, these Israelite countries, where the government cannot provide for its people. It's a vacuum they're going to create now, you know. So what do you think will happen now? Is that the people are going to turn to the government, or something is going to happen, and then they are going to now required for either new people come in, which probably is on the preparation right now, by the same authorities to come in and fill the gap, or they come in themselves with their military and fill the gap. And next thing you know, you're living in a militarized state. But I'm here to tell you, it ain't going to happen. If it does happen, it's not going to happen for long. Because this move now is the Most High making his move for his people. They think that they are going to be in power forever.
Steps in to fill a vacuum, and that is why these men, despite their...
All right, here she mentioned something about the vacuum. All right.
You're seeing states that are now so impotent, so unable to really provide for their own people, that the drug trade steps in to fill the vacuum. And that is why these men, despite their violence and their mayhem, are seen as Robin Hood heroes to the fore.
All right, so it happened in the time of Jim Brown and them Monday. The drug trade came in as now to fill that vacuum. Something else going to fill the vacuum this time. But you know, the man at the helm in Jamaica right now is Andrew. You don't have to travel there. We look to the Most High. You know, look to the UPK. Look to Commanding General YAHANNA. Nothing is wrong with you know. Send a little man come contact with you and say, yeah, I want to have a little chat with Commanding General YAHANNA. You know. I want to, some advice and to lead in the Lord's people. Nothing is wrong with that. Nicodemus came to Christ by night. If it wasn't for the scripture, we wouldn't know. Because nobody never did see. If it wasn't recorded in the scriptures, we would know. So, you know, I'm going to make a night link with Christ, because you know everybody to say I'm going to Christ for instructions on how to lead the Lord's people. So nothing is wrong if you do it. Don't think that you are, as a matter of fact, it will save your soul.
Right.
Right. All right. There are more videos that we can play. We're not really, but you trust me. We have more classes. You know, each other class we talk about, we bring out other things and things, you know. All right. Time well spent. Give me now Isaiah 51, 21 to 23.
Got it, one gun. Another one gun. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 51, chapter 21. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine.
Our people are drunken, but it's not wine drunk them. What drunk them? Violence, white supremacy. You know, they believe that everything that comes from the white man is good. Continue.
Another one gun, verse 22. Thus saith thy Lord, the Lord and thy God that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again.
All right. So all these things that you see our people is going, this is the cup of trembling. You're going through Spanish Town right now. How much people brave enough now to go through Spanish Town? Not much. If you don't live there or you don't have to go there, you ain't going there. Continue.
Another one gun, verse 23. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee,
them
which
that
have said,
afflict thee, these white men, these other nation that is afflicting our people, teaching our people how to be criminals, how to do illicit things. Continue.
Another one can, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that went over.
Right. CIA and him what you call it? CIA and their military industrial complex. They were the ones fighting Michael Manley in the 70s. They were fighting Jamaica. They make it look political. But what they really want, they wanted Jamaica's bauxite because our bauxite was among the best in the world. Very good to make their bombs and their fighter jets. But, you know, the politics, they want to get the politics their way. So, but what did we on the ground see? What did people and our people on the ground see? PNP and JLP. Which way it's bigger than that, right? And this is what they have done to us ages to ages. Whenever time the Most High has left us, they come and they find us because they know that there's wealth among these people. And they try to be our master because they know that they can rise themselves up on our backs. And this is what this is about. Bow down that we may go over. And you that went over, meaning you that make yourself economically rich, you did so on our backs. You use our body as the ground. Yeah, you walk upon we, because when you teach our men to be this kind of terrorists and this kind of political violence out in the streets, in the open, that is you making your climb. But now that you have climbed, you don't know how to tell us. You tell us to bow down, but you don't know how to show us to rise up. So now that you gone over and you rich and you make billionaires, how are you not going to teach our people to rise up? That is now we. That is where we going to have to come in now, because only we can teach we to rise up. And that's what we in the UPK is doing. Right? And pretty soon, you are going to see for yourself that this is where you, our people, need to come to rise. And it is not just an economic thing. If it was just an economic thing, the Most I would just allow you to grow, because naturally, you black people, you rise financially any way you put it in. That is why them other nations most time don't have any pity on you, because you put him out there in the desert, he's going to survive. Survival is that is us, right? But the most I want you now to see him cut these things, the unlawful acts, the breaking the Most High's laws. And you are going to see how you can rise, right? And you are going to rise right in front of these very nations that have you down, that don't want to see you rise. You're going to rise in front of them, providing you come on the right side. All right? Any questions?
No questions, sir.
All right. So with that, we pass the class to priest and officer Kayadwan.
All right, clap it up. All right, these are the ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find it in the book of Numbers, chapter 18 and verse 21, and Malachi, chapter 3, verse 10, means 10 in the Hebrew and is pronounced Ma'aishara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teachers. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you'd like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation. All right, so the next upcoming Holy Convocation, that is the memorial of the blowing of the trumpet. That is the first day of the 7th month, which is Sunday, the 25th of September. You can find the blowing of the trumpet in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 24 to 25. Reminding Akiam and Akwatiam to check on social media such as I.S.U.P.K, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on, I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he's to start wearing all black, which include black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we say I-Marium, which means to stand. Star, which means to turn. Apanya Aquadam, which means and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and then in English. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabashamaya.
Shabashamaya.
Kwadash.
Kwadash.
Aya.
Aya.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahawa.
I didn't get that.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Malakwatka.
Malakwatka.
Taba'a.
Taba'a.
Watazaka.
Watazaka.
Aya.
Aya.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Baharataza.
Baharataza.
Hawa.
Hawa.
Aya.
Aya.
Bashamaya.
Bashamaya.
Nathan Lanawa.
Nathan Lanawa.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Kal.
Kal.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalak Lanawa.
Wasalak Lanawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Kasalak Nawa.
Kasalak Nawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Tabaya Anawa.
Tabaya Nawa.
Wanasayawan.
Wanasayawan.
Abad.
Abad.
Our Shai Nawa.
Our Shai Nawa.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Right.
Right.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Amalakwat.
Amalakwat.
Wa'ala.
Wahala.
Watapara.
Watapara.
La'aiwalamiam.
La'aiwalamiam.
Amen.
Amen. In English, Our Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
When hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come.
Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory.
For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory.
Forever so be it. Amen.
Forever so be it. Amen.
All right, prayer for the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth and all things living.
King of heaven and earth and all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
To the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets.
To the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets.
The teachers.
The teachers.
The princes.
The princes.
The priests.
The priests.
The Israelite brothers and the school.
The Israelite brothers and the school.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen.
And shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel.
And shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites.
And the nations.
And the nations.
And their drug dealers.
And their drug dealers.
The court system.
The court system.
The prison system.
The prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
Pope.
Islam.
Islam.
Christianity.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Egyptology.
Militia.
Militia.
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation.
Skinheads.
Skinheads.
Posse Comitazi.
Posse Comitazi.
The gay movement.
The gay movement.
The lesbian movement.
The lesbian movement.
Spies.
Spies.
Workers of witchcraft.
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space programs.
NASA space program.
Army.
Army.
Navy.
Navy.
Air Force.
Air Force.
Marines.
Marines.
Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet and the airways.
Open up the internet and the airways.
The cable access channel and the radio channels.
The cable access channels and the radio channels.
Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us.
Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us.
And bring swift destruction to all the Eden.
And bring swift destruction to all Eden.
That stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words.
That stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words.
Throughout the planet Earth.
Throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Through the earth.
Through the earth.
And consume them.
And consume them.
Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer.
Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer.
Let Yahweh, Michael, and Gabriel.
Let Yahweh, Michael, and Gabriel.
Come down with the flying saucers.
Come down with the flying saucers.
And punish all the Edens.
And punish all the Edens.
That come up against us.
That come up against us.
As we speak thy word.
As we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known by all that is the angels that has done it.
Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that has done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media throughout the whole world.
Cause it to be spread through the media and throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Thank you always, so be.
Thank you always, so be. This is the prayer for the power in the HEBREO. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Baba Kosha.
Baba Kosha.
Nathan Lanao.
Nathan Lanao.
Akak.
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 Larpa'a.
Larpa'a.
Kalmakala.
Kalmakala.
Wakal Madawa.
Wakal Madawa.
Akak.
Akak.
Lata'ar.
Lata'ar.
Amatazaraya.
Amatazaraya.
Akak.
Akak.
La Aquayam.
La Aquayam.
Amathiam.
Amathiam.
Akak.
Akak.
Irakawat.
Irakawat.
Atamala.
Atamala.
Lagarashan.
Lagarashan.
Basham Yahweh.
Basham Yahweh.
Thawadah Aman.
Thawadah Aman. In English, Yahweh in the name of Yahweh.
Yahweh in the name of Yahweh.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
Power against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out in the name of Yahweh.
Cast them out in the name of Yahweh.
Thank you, so be.
Thank you, so be. This is the prayer for the blessing in the Hebrew. Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai.
Barak Lanawa.
Barak Lanawa.
Wayasharala.
Wayasharala.
Waha.
Waha.
Bayatsapariam.
Bayatsapariam.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapa'a.
Rapa'a.
Magan.
Magan.
Hagan.
Hagan.
Commanding General Yahanna.
Commanding General Yahanna.
The General.
The Generals.
The Captains.
The Captains.
The Officers.
Officers.
The Troopers.
Troopers.
The young men and the sisters.
Young men and the sisters.
Basham Yahweh Shai.
Basham Yahweh Shai.
Thawadah Aman.
Thawadah Aman. All right, what you have just said in English, Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless us and Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones in the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you, so.
All right, Sar, which means to turn. I'm going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel. Imadim Shabbat. Imadim. Barak. Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai Barakatah.
Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai Barakatah.
Yadamata. Sar, which means turn and face the sisters, men of Israel. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel. Imadim Shabbat. Imadim. Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alatan Basham Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shamar Alatan Basham Yahweh Shai.
Yadamata. Class dismissed.
All right, so online viewers, remember, pay your tithes, ISUPK.com and pay your tithes. Jonah said, get one diplomatic passport for him too. All right, so I'll lick some music again. Who did say get the diplomatic passport? It was Jim Brown, you know, Jim Brown. Not Dudus, Jim Brown. Lester Lloyd Cook. He was the one who was Siaga's bodyguard and a diplomat. Yeah, man, that is something they don't play in Jamaica. They don't talk about it, you know. But that's the way it was. All right, so until what again? Tuesday we have Brotherhood class.
God. Monday I will be uploading a video, so you know what I mean. Subscribe so you can get the notification when that video uploads. And after that, Tuesday is Brotherhood class, and then Wednesday is Laugh class. Both are 7 p.m. So just tune in for that as well. You understand? Yeah.
Right. In the meantime, listen to some of our Captain's Akkad Abarium music.
All right, sir. My phone battery on 1, so I was salute.
No problem.
Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Rakatah.
Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah.
All right.
First breath I took, a life too surreal. Second breath I took was the pivot and strike, finish the kill. Influenced by might, with every sentence reveal. I won't pay back, fuck a dollar bill. Remain calm as the pressure build. Gotta endure until I let this pump whistle at my foes in memory of Emmett Till. I only live to do my master's will. I.S.U.P.K, motherfucker. Ain't no cowards on this battlefield. Gone astray but made greater. In my return, left to my mistakes. Every error was a lesson learned. Now I don't move, let's it get approved. Won't take a step till it get confirmed. Armed and tape, it was made for our sakes. March like a tank, one step will make the ground shake. My people sick in their head, Lord, let this truth spread like an outbreak and bring hell at them crackers can't escape. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I won't pay back for the scars in the slave memoirs. Till Christ arrive, I can't let it slide. Ignore the lies. The only free will that's before your eyes is life or death, nigga, you decide. This heaven was made for me and my fellow. I patiently wait with my eyes on the sparrow, and I pull the trigger while my lips kiss the barrel. Before I ever let a white bitch do me like Othello. I want out this wicked life like Romello. By any means, this devil pulling strings like Geppetto. Lay hold on this brotherhood, I swear I never let go. And fuck that silver spoon, got too much love for the ghetto. Till the score settle with VB, I die for the cause. Just to hear them angels applaud. And I'm true by every word I say, cause I know my victory on the way. You want it? Nigga, walk this way. This life may be hard, but I can't give up. On my dick go hard, and I won't give up. And could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so tough? It's real, I be walking with the angels. Boy, I can't may be hard, but I can't give up. On my dick go hard, and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so tough? It's real, I be walking with the angels. Boy, I can't be touched. Came through in the clutch. They hate but they can't doubt us. We princes of the power, what you know about us? Evil all around us, but a nigga straight. I told you I can't be touched. Holy angels walk at my pace. And I'm grateful for the words that had me delivered. I'm hungry for the glory, but I ain't eating till I feed my next. One West, what I die for. Attire out the book of numbers, this rifle from the Archangel Michael. My niggas rebels, you can't deny them. It's 144, I be running to and fro with the Allah higher. My UPK soldiers ain't no folding or pretending. We in it for the crowns, fuck friends, we want dominion. In the election ascension, I hope I make it through. Give a damn what a bitch think, as long as my niggas know I'm true. Betrayed your kind to get success. We make it through the eye of the needle, nigga. I be as life may be hard, but I can't give up. On my dick go hard, and I won't give up. And could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so tough? It's real, I be walking with them angels. Boy, I can't be touched. It may be hard, but I can't give up. On my dick go hard, and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so tough? It's real, I be walking with them angels. Boy, I can't be touched.
Yeah, you already know what time it is, you understand? UPK, One West of the Command Junior YAHANNA, all my brothers, we rolling through, you understand? Cause these niggas weak, these niggas don't know what to do. You see these soldiers beside me, standing in all black with them shields on post, marching, they all my brothers.
Gold is precious, but loyalty is priceless. Harm on the mind might leave you lifeless. Wrong with this shit, I'm in need of diapers. Endure through any crisis, cause all my niggas righteous, all political vipers. Cowards fold, real niggas hold rank, stand for what they believe in, won't compromise a day. Never harmonize with traitors, do not affiliate with impersonators. You cross the line, you gon' catch the vapors. My niggas strong, no chase. Them other niggas sweet like annihilators. Tank full of brown sugar like annihilate. Every time I move, a righteous demonstration. All I deny is Satan. My brother's glorious, true warriors. The labor swore down the death sentence. Can't stop till we notorious. Thrown in my way with a supreme audience. Proud ass nigga get exiled. No loitering around my brothers.
Yeah, you already know what it is. 144 back again, UPK style, putting it down for my brothers. And I roll with straight soldiers.
That's
you
right.
See them niggas with them shields
That's
and
right.
the fatigues and them boots. They my brothers. We gon' rule it on the king, on the stand. We gon' rule this bitch at all costs. Nigga, we gon' take these from them crackers.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
to the
That's
ground.
right. That's
We gon'
right.
eat
That's
and
right.
drink. Me and all
My
my
brain like the ladder house. You can't blend with my men, nigga. I can tell you fake from your treacherous mouth. Claiming God is all love, we don't believe that. Give a damn about your 2 cents. Fuck your feedback. I give it all for my brothers, they deserve it. No excuses for my niggas. They striving to be perfect. Sacrifice whatever form they never owe me. UPK, we click tight like Sweet Pea and Joe. Endure to the end, it's what a wise man told me. Liquor from the top shelf, but I spit it with the load. 144, nigga, everybody know me. All I ever wanted was revenge, fuck a road. Say you down for the cause, gotta show me. Stand tall and do not blush. Remain calm when the danger pop up. Flow deep like David Jones locker. More bars than Central Locker. No competition, only glory in the distance for my brothers.
Thanksgiving came around, I wasn't having no feast when the landlord talking about breaking our lease.
Voting ain't gonna help us, man. Marching ain't gonna help us, man.
Like for a nigga like me.
Protesting